Hello again, and welcome to the Corner Studio here in my garage. And I see from our high-tech teleprompters that it is indeed time for another episode of Friday Evening Camera Talk. This one is number 94. Tonight's program is being shot on the Nikon Z6 III with the 24-120 lens on it, as is normal for out here in the studio. And tonight's program is kind of a single topic event because we have some really good test footage testing the Firmware 3.0 focus limiting, and we have done that with two Z8 cameras, one without the firmware, one with the firmware, and we've been using the Mavic 3 drone as a moving subject to get the testing done. And this was the brainchild of the wife, and she has handled all of the test clips and the editing for these clips. So the only thing I'm shooting is the talking head part sandwiched in between. So I got the easy part of the job. She's been working on this video. I'm shooting this on a Monday. She's been working on this video for about 3 days now. So off and on at the computer, just doing stuff. And interestingly, we've kind of crossed a threshold with the second Z8. I've told you on the channel many times she prefers the Nikon Z9. We've got two Z8s. Typically I use both the Z8s, but I was headed out here to shoot the program today, and she's like, "Are you borrowing the Z8?" Like it's hers. And so like, yes, I'm borrowing the Z8. And then she said, "Well, don't take the blue strap off of it because I like it set up that way." So I guess I've lost control of this camera here, the one that's got the Firmware 3.0 on it. But I want to kind of lead into these clips, and the 28-400 lens is on both cameras, and normally I would have shot this test with the 24-120, but we needed that extra focal range because most of these clips were shot in a about 120 to 200 millimeter focal length, so the 24-120 wouldn't have worked for this. But the clips are mostly shot 4K 60 at f8, and we're using auto subject detect to see how fast the the new feature in Firmware 3.0, how fast does it grab and hold the focus on the item. So I guess what I would like to do now is set up the first test. We'll queue it up. This is the 5 meters to 50 meters test. So let's roll it. All right, so we just saw the test clips for the 5 meters to 50 meters focus limiting, and I want to bring up something now which doesn't interfere with the test, but you'll see a difference. You saw a difference with the colors, no doubt, from one frame to the next. And I want to say we think that the cameras were set up identically except for one thing. I was using this camera in the studio with the Firmware 3.0, and I had it set to white balance auto. Now this one is the camera that I normally use out in the field, and it was not set up with the firmware 3.0, and we had it set to white balance natural. Now the wife went through the menus before she did the testing and tried to make sure to ascertain if everything was set up the same, and that one got past us. So I think that accounts for the difference in one looks lighter, the other one looks a little more natural, and indeed, this was the Z8 with the firmware 3.0 that I was using out here in the studio with settings that were just, specifically for the studio. So that said, let's take a look at the next clip, which is the 5 meters to 30 meters limiting. Okay, so we just saw the 5 to 30 meter limit, and let's take a look at the last one, which is the focus limiting set at 5 meters to 20 meters. All right, so we just saw that last slice of test clips. That was with the 5 to 20 meter focus limiting. And I'll just pause here a second before I talk about the results. And I'll mention, as you know, on the channel here, we actually take camera bodies and lenses out and we use them and we test them. A lot of channels, and I'm not calling people out by name, but you see them with the camera body and they're waving it around, and then you don't ever see them with that camera body again, or they've got a lens and it's new and they're talking about it all excitedly, and then it gets parked somewhere else. We actually use this gear. I started out in the Nikon line with Z6 IIs. We had a Z30, a Z52. We've got the Z6 III, the Z8s, the Z9. We actually take this stuff out in the field and we use it and we test it. All of the lenses, if they survive testing and they become part of our actual course table, I know what those lenses do and what they can produce. So I'm not taking a guess at this stuff. We actually take this out and use it, and it's a difference that you see between this channel and a lot of the other channels that are out there. Just thought I'd point that out. It's a good time when you're patting yourself on the back to ask people to subscribe and like the video. Am I going to put the 3.0 firmware on this Z8? I don't see a reason at this point not to. It looks like an improvement, and I'm willing to give it a go on the last Z8. video in its entirety, the test portion, I'm going to post it at the very end tonight so you can see it uninterrupted without any talking head slices in between, just the testing from start to finish. So hang around for that at the end of the video if you want to see that with no verbiage in between. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We sure do hope to see you again soon in another video. So till then, take care.